This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Kingston Technical High student stabbed to death. A female student of the Kingston Technical High School is dead after a fight with another female student earlier today. The Kingston Central Police are now investigating the fatal stabbing. Superintendent Beresford Williams, who is in charge of the Kingston Central Police Division, confirmed the incident. A source told the news that it was a tearful day at the school. Efforts to reach the school administration have proven futile so far. Police make a breakthrough in Westmoreland murder. The police have charged 20-year-old Vasheen Braham, otherwise called Tug Rat, of Shrewsbury Whithorn in Westmoreland with murder, wounding with intent, and illegal possession of firearm in connection with an incident at Roaring River in the parish on Thursday, May 26. Reports are that about 12:15 a.m., Braham and several armed men gained entry into a house and opened fire, hitting two of the occupants. The police were alerted, and upon their arrival, both victims were taken to the hospital, where one was pronounced dead. The deceased was later identified as O'Neill Rodney, otherwise called Price of Seaton Crescent, Savannah Lamar. Investigators executed an arrest warrant on Braham during a police operation at Kippin, Darliston in Westmoreland on Tuesday. He was subsequently charged. His court date is being finalized. Pedestrian killed along North Coast Highway. A pedestrian was killed after being hit by a minibus along the North Coast Highway Thursday morning. The police say the middle-aged man from Trelawney was hit by a black Toyota Voxy minibus as he was crossing the street in the Greenwood community about 3 a.m. He died on the spot. The man's name has not yet been released by the police. Ex-soldier killed while working on car off Maxfield Avenue. A man said to be a former Jamaica Defense Force soldier was shot and killed on Sunlight Street off Maxfield Avenue in Kingston 13 on Thursday morning. The deceased has been identified as a 38-year-old Andre Stewart, who resided in the Zimbabwe section of the community. It is reported that Stewart was doing mechanical work on his vehicle when he was approached by men who shot him multiple times. He later succumbed to his injuries. According to police sources, there is an ongoing gang feud between men from Zimbabwe and the Sunlight Street. Investigations are ongoing. Police beat me, tearful taxi driver details alleged abuse by cops. A taxi operator is alleging physical abuse at the hands of police in Manchester. Jermaine Cunningham, who was captured in a viral video, engaged in a tussle with police officers after resisting arrest over an alleged traffic breach, told a journalist Thursday that he was beaten by cops while in their custody at the Christian police station on Wednesday. The police then beat me yesterday, and them handcuff me and carry me go up a station and handcuff me upon the bench. The police boxed me in my face, a tearful Cunningham said. Scores of taxi operators Thursday morning blocked a section of the Succeed Main Road in northeast Manchester in support of Cunningham and over what they claim is continued harassment by the police in Christiana over a long-standing parking issue. The taxi operators say because of the absence of a proper transportation center in Christiana, they are being found in breach by the police for parking violations. The taxis previously used a private property as a parking area, but it is now under construction for a commercial building. The taxi operators say the parking arrangement on Wildman Street, commonly referred to as Market Street, is dangerous. 14-year-old charged with housebreaking and larceny. A 14-year-old boy is scheduled to face the court to answer to the charges of housebreaking and larceny following an incident at the Snow Hill District, Portland on Tuesday, September 20. Reports from the Port Antonio police are that about 7:45 a.m., the complainant securely locked up his house and went to work. On his return, he discovered that his house was broken into, 2 Amazon tablets valued at $50,000 and a bicycle valued at $30,000 were missing. A report was made to the police and the 14-year-old was subsequently arrested and charged in connection with the incident. He is scheduled to appear before the Port Antonio Parish Court on Tuesday, October 18. Delivery man killed in St. Andrew crash. A motorcyclist is dead after colliding with a motorcar at the intersection of Oliver and the Constance Spring Roads in St. Andrew Thursday afternoon. The unidentified man is said to be a food delivery worker. The accident occurred about 1:25 p.m. An eyewitness told the news that the motorcyclist was heading down Constance Spring Road in the direction of Halfway Tree and collided with the motorcar that was turning onto Oliver Road from the opposite direction. The police were at the scene trying to control the traffic at the busy intersection. Mother and her son charged after firearm seizure in Westmoreland. A mother and her son have been arrested following the seizure of a Taurus 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 17 rounds of ammunition by cops carrying out operations under Operation Relentless 2. Arrested are Rassie Hyde, 27, and Annette Plummer, 43, both of Whitehall District in Westmoreland. According to reports, the operation was carried out on Nampril Road in Negril on Wednesday, September 28, between 8 p.m. and 11:05 p.m. During the operation, the police searched the house occupied by the mother and her son, where the team found the firearm hidden under a couch. The duo was charged with illegal possession of firearm and ammunition. Blood donations being sought for former Senator Delano Franklin. Colleagues for former Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Delano Franklin, are appealing for the public's assistance with blood donations. Franklin, a former People's National Party senator, has been hospitalized since early September. The 62-year-old is in critical condition at the University Hospital of the West Indies. A closer contact with knowledge of his illness told the news. He was diagnosed with a rare disease a few years ago. Persons wishing to assist are being asked to donate blood under his name at the Blood Bank of Jamaica or at the hospital's blood bank. The receipt should be submitted to the head nurse at Annex UHWI. Constable charged for 2020 assault, says Indicom. Constable Rajic O'Connor was placed before the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court by way of summons to answer to the charge of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, contrary to common law earlier today. The charges were as a result of an investigation by the Independent Commission of Investigations and a ruling by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. In a press release today, Indicom said Constable O'Connor was charged in relation to the assault of a man which occurred in Denham Town on February 21, 2020. It was reported that Constable O'Connor intervened in a verbal altercation between the complainant and his neighbor, which resulted in the complainant sustaining actual bodily harm. A trial date has been set for February 6 and 7, 2023 by the presiding judge, and disclosure was made to defense counsel. All concerned parties were bound over. NWC says planned floating energy system will result in lower water bills. The National Water Commission says consumers can expect a reduction in their bills following the implementation of its Mona Reservoir floating energy system in St. Andrew. Floating solar systems provide an opportunity to locate solar systems on the surface of the reservoir. Subject to permits, the project is to be implemented in phases, with a completion expected in the first quarter of 2024. NWC President Mark Barnett says the initiative is expected to save the Commission millions of dollars in electricity bill, which will eventually translate into lower water bills for customers.
The idea of reduce of part of our operational costs, it will eventually translate into lower water bill. As you know, OUR will have to look at all of that because it will add up into the overall operational cost. And the lower we bring our operational costs down, it will mean it is a benefit to the consuming public. We would want to reduce our light bill down to pre-Ukraine, Russian-Ukraine issue, which we believe, based on our budget, was in a manageable state. Just to say, since that visitation, our light bill cumulatively has increased more than $2 billion since then. WC cannot exist the grid. The grid, we would therefore have to install a separate grid for ourselves. We are not coming off the grid, and I want to just settle that concern. We will, what we're trying to do is to find different mix of energy solutions that is beneficial to NWC using the grid, because under the current arrangement, we are paying an astronomical amount for energy. We're still monitoring to ensure that we get the reservoir at its maximum. We are still somewhere from there, and so you'll still find some restriction at night, predominantly in the early mornings. But bearing in mind, we just have another month and a half, if you will, if things hold true to historical pattern. And thereafter, we go into the longest dry period starting 1st of December. So I'm always mindful that the longest dry period, we want to ensure that persons constantly have as regular as possible water supply.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.